I was singing so loud right there. I almost lost my voice. I was like, I'm going to see a victory. Did that get you fired up this morning? Man, I was fired. I was fired up. And, the last couple of weeks have been just a little heavy on me as a pastor. And I was telling with somebody this morning, and man, I began to sing that song. I just felt that victory. And I just began to get excited because I don't know what holds in the future, but I do know this. I have hope for the future. And I'm not going to jump to that point yet. I need to back up. So let's talk about this. Our mission and our statement of what we want to say is that as a church, as an individual, we want to live by faith. We want to be a voice of hope, and we want to be known by love. You see that plastered all over the church. You see it on our Facebook. You see it on our website. And this is our mission statement, what we're saying. We're saying as a church, but also as individuals, I want to be and to live by faith. I want to be a voice of hope, and I want to be known by love. And we all come underneath the same purpose. Our purpose on this planet, our purpose in this church, our purpose as an individual, our purpose is to introduce people to the love of Jesus. Right? You say, what's my purpose, Pastor Russ? I don't understand what my purpose is. I'm simple. To introduce people to Jesus. There's your purpose. Man, if we could just hold on to that and live that, that's our desire. Our purpose is to introduce people to the love of Jesus. At the end of service, as you walk out the door, I'm going to have a little test, and you got to write it down. What is your purpose? My purpose is to show people, to introduce people to the love of Jesus. That's our purpose. As a church, as individuals, as me, myself, and Irene, right? I have said that a lot, like for 3 weeks now. That's crazy. It's sticking in my mind. I have to go and watch that movie. You see, but our purpose is to introduce people to the love of Jesus. And our values is this. You see, what's our values? Our values is this. We believe in KCA. We believe in spiritual discipline. And it goes beyond Sunday mornings. It is Taylor's portfolio. It is his job, is to develop and to enhance us in spiritual discipline. We believe in spiritual discipline. There is more to church than Sunday morning. A lot more. There is more to us growing together. There's more in us meeting in groups, praying for each other, encouraging each other, and standing beside each other when we're walking through something or when we're having a great time. There's more to it. We also, as a value to us, is ministry involvement. Don't just sit there. You're going to hear from us. Don't just sit there. Get involved. Get involved. Be an usher. If you can sing, be on the singing team. If you love little kids, go downstairs. If you like to hold babies, oh my gracious, we have a job for you. And we got more babies on the way. I'm so excited today. I learned some new news. It's babies. We got to stop. And we believe it's time. It's time as a church to wake up, and it's time as a church to worship. Right? So one of our values is to worship. To come, to humiliate ourselves, to draw back, to reflect, and to worship Jesus. I'm excited. After Easter, Matt's going to be preaching on worship and be talking about his heart and the desire as us, as a congregation, to worship. And it's just going to be a great service. But as I look at this, I'm going to start from the very beginning. Our voices, we want to live by faith. You see, faith is a subject that is featured a lot. Paul wrote a lot about faith. He knew what he was looking for when he went to church in the Corinth church. He knew what he was looking for. And in the book of Romans, Paul cites Abraham as being one of the greatest examples of faith. Abraham. In chapter 4, he states that Abraham's faith is what made him righteous. Not his circumstances or any of the things that he did, but his faith is what made him righteous before God. Abraham believed that God was going to do and that he was going to be the father of many nations. I mean, Abraham, he's 99 years old. And he has this promise from God that he's going to be the father of nations. Now, if I'm 99 years old, I'm going to giggle at me having a baby. I would cry. I would cry today if I don't have a baby. I'd be crying. 99 years old, and his wife isn't far behind him, and Abraham believed that he was going to be a dad and become the father of nations. And he does. Why? He believed that. He held to that. And he was awarded with him the righteousness. It was because of Abraham's belief in God that could do what he personally thought that could not happen, but he believed and he knew that God could do it, and God knew that Abraham truly believed who he was, and he was credited righteousness, and he was credited as a person who lived by faith. You see, when we look at a circumstance in our lives and we say, this is impossible, but I believe that it can happen. Faith. Faith. This to me is impossible. But I know who God is. I know what he can do. Faith. I want to live by faith. Hope. Hope is something that is very different and is completely separate from faith, but the two are essentially linked together. Look at Romans chapter 5 with me, starting with verse 1. Therefore, since we have been justified through faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ, through whom we have gained access by faith into this grace in which we now stand. We boast in the hope of the glory of God. Not only so, we also glorify in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out in our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. Through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. When we read this passage from Romans, it makes it very clear that faith is the key that opens up God's promises, but it is hope that is the tool by which we hold on to them. Paul was addressing a distortion in the church. Hope as a temporary illusion rather than a virtue. And today, I think at times this creeps in the church still today. It's viewed the same way, that hope is a temporary illusion rather than a virtue. We are not sure if something is going to happen, but we hope that it does. It's no surprise that in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 12, Paul says that pagans have no hope. Hope that comes from God is the kind that holds onto even when the seasons of change would suggest that there's no way that this promise can come true. This is why the heroes of faith mentioned in chapter 11 of Hebrews are also known as the beacons of hope. Some things that we have the faith to believe God to brings out things immediately, but other things are promises of the future. And there is where hope steps in. This is how it is with Abraham. He had the hope of being the father of nations, even when the circumstances in his life would suggest that this is impossible. Paul talks about the greatest hope that we have, that of being made right with God, having eternal life through Jesus Christ. The blessed hope. Have you ever heard that? The blessed hope. This is the hope that we have. It is something that is in the future. It is something that we hold to. We have faith and we know and we hold to the blessed hope. Because someday I'm going to step into eternity. And when I do, I know what's going to happen. I have the blessed hope. When we read, we see Paul is saying that When we look at hope, it is being made right with God and having eternal life. This should truly become the hope of us, the hope of the church. This is what we're talking about when we share the love of Jesus. We're talking about the hope of the church, the hope of us. We need to understand the hope for the church and be less concerned about what the world has to offer to us and more about the things that are to come. We need to be excited about this and get our eyes off of the world, because right now the world tries to have our eyes. Watch TV right now. Watch the political realm. Watch all the man, I'm telling you what, you don't know what's true and what's not true. I mean, the Facebook just blows up with all sorts of erroneous information, but all this is craziness, right? The world is trying to offer something that has nothing. It has no hope. The world does not have hope. What does? Our relationship with Jesus. Our hope is found in Jesus. You put your hope into the things that are going on. You look at society right now. You look at your TV. You look at your news. The sky is falling, right? This place is coming apart. I had a guy call me the other day, and he's just like, Pastor Russ, what, this world's going to come apart in Seattle. It's worse. And I'm just listening to the story. I was like, bring it on, baby, because this world has nothing to offer. What I have my hope in is in Jesus. I can be excited. The political thing can do whatever it wants to do. I'm telling you this. My God is in control. Yeah, that's right. Maybe the church needs to be woke up right now. Yeah. Well, then let's wake it up. That's what I said. Let's go for it. Because I know this. This is what I know. When I want to be a voice of hope, I have to be the voice of Christ, not of this world. That's where our hope is. That's what I'm talking about. This is who we are as KCA. You say, I want to live by this hope. Yeah. The hope is in Jesus, not a false hope of this world. Let's get our eyes off this world. Let's get our eyes on Jesus and be the voice of hope, because that's something to hope for. Yeah. When I look at this, I also want to be known by love. The other two virtues are extremely important. But Paul emphasizes that this is the most important of all. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, he makes it very clear why love is put on such a pedestal. And this is who we need to be at KCA. Let's look at this. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but I do not have love, I am a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and I can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move a mountain, but I do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all my possessions to the poor and I give over my body to hardship, that I may boast, but I do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. In the first part of verse 8, love never fails. Wow. I wish I could do that. I just wish I could all the time. But I'm a person, I'm a human, and I struggle with this. And that's okay. But I want to be known for love. And how do I do that? I work on this. I try to place this into my life. Sometimes when I put my name in this thing, Russ is patient, Russ is kind, Russ does not envy. Well, let's just stop there. I want to be this voice of hope. I must understand something. I am working on this. This is who we are, church. We are not perfect. We can't hold people to perfect standards. So what we do is we work on this. We work on love. We work on being known by love. We work on living by faith. We work on our voice of hope. And we work on being known by love. And yes, you make mistakes. But the most exciting thing about a mistake is you can get back up. Right? One of the most exciting things about mistakes in our lives is you can get forgiveness. You ask for forgiveness, you will be forgiven. Now, you might have a circumstance or a situation where you're going to pay a consequence, but that's all right. We'll stand with you on that. But here's the understanding. Our desire is to be known by love, to be this voice of hope, and to live by faith. That's who we are. That's who we're challenging to be. When I write messages, when we look at the whole year as a calendar, this is what our platform is laying on. To be this, to live by faith, to be that voice, and to be known. Faith is demonstrated in our lives. We need to be people living faith. Our hope in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ through eternal life in Him. Love needs to be the center of our thought process and our lives. In our homes, at our workplace, and here. Faith, hope, and love. Now the three of these remain. Faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. You see, our purpose, I'm talking about our purpose as individuals, as a church, is to introduce people to the love of Jesus. That's our purpose. There is no other purpose. I've seen people write out this big, huge old purpose paragraph page. Our purpose is to introduce people to Jesus. That's clear, simplistic, and 100% the truth. That's our purpose. Our purpose is to introduce people to the love of Jesus. Every one of us in this world, every soul is going to walk into eternity. Every soul. Our purpose is to introduce them to Jesus. It's our purpose. So we write down and say, I want to live by faith. I want to be that voice of hope. I want to be known by love. The reason why is because I want to tell you about Jesus. You see, we need to be on mission. This is what I call, it's what we do classes and a lot of the buzzwords around is to be on mission. The church needs to be on mission. Let's be on mission. The mission is to know our purpose and to be on mission. To do it. And you know what? We struggle. You ever struggled living by faith? You ever struggle with hope? You ever struggle with love? Yes. You're a human. But we work on it. We work on it. We try to place this in our lives. We try to make decisions to honor God in what we do and what we say, what we're thinking, what we're placing into our lives. When we look at this, we also must look at our values. When we look at our mission, we must look at our values. These vary, but our greatest values that we have really put time into, and as KCA, as this church, we find great value in spiritual development. We believe in community. I know I am where I am today because of friends in my life. Because of small groups when I was a kid, I was a high schooler. I had a friend that when I was going to do something stupid, would say something like, well, I'm just going to tell your dad. And I'd say, well, I'm not going to do that. And then there was times he was going to do something really stupid, and I'd say, well, I'm going to tell your dad. And he'd say, well, then I'm not going to do that. You see, when we come together, we support each other, we encourage each other, we stand together in community, we challenge each other spiritually. This is of great value. It's more than Sunday morning. This is fun. This is a great time to get together. This is a great time to see each other and to encourage each other. Those of you online, I know you type stuff on there. Those of you that have emojis, and some of you are capital king emoji people, and you write out these emojis. I'm like, I don't even know what they're saying, but they just wrote me a whole bunch of emojis, show my daughter, and she interprets it for me. But there's more than this. There's times when we get together and pray for each other and encourage each other. I know this past week, I was standing in the lobby, and Wednesday night, and I came in, and somebody was telling me a story of their group that happened the night before. They've been making this prayer request, and they've been praying together, and it comes into the group this last week on Tuesday night and says, listen to this answer of prayer that we've been praying. Thank you for praying. That's community. That's when we're coming together, and throughout the day, I'm thinking and I'm praying about your request because you're my friend, because I deliberately put you in my life. I don't sit at home and do my own stuff, because I'm telling you what, it's easy to sit at home and to do our own stuff, especially if you're an introvert. Me, I have to go outside. I have to come over to your house. I'm an extrovert. I'm not going to sit at home and do this. I can't. And I get sick. Man, it's horrible. I can't lay in bed all day. Oh, my gracious. I can't do that. But there's people I know that they're like, oh, man, one of the best things the day off, if I could just lay in bed all day. I don't understand that. Right? But it's easy to get all involved with myself and to stay home and do nothing. It takes effort. We believe in spiritual discipline. And then one of those disciplines is you making the effort to put people in your life. Don't stand on this island alone. Don't be an island unto yourself. You can sit in a place like this and be lonely. Well, as your pastor, I'm going to tell you, shame on you. We believe a value of community of each other. Don't sit in this place and be lonely. Force yourself to get into a group. If you say, Pastor Russ, there's no group that I like. Well, you like me, so just come to mine on Wednesday night. Force yourself. It is of great value. Of great value. And we hold to this as one of our major values in this church, is community. We share our lives together. In community, we give. We give to each other. We discipline ourselves to make it happen. And I know I go home tired too, and it takes a lot of effort sometimes. I'm challenging you in your spiritual development to get involved in community. And with our community, with our spiritual development, another great value of ours is ministry involvement. Getting involved. We believe in ministry involvement here. We encourage you to get involved in church, to own something. I know nowadays membership means so much different than when I was a kid. When I was a kid, membership in a church was membership, it was members. But now you can become a member at the gym for $10, right? And you're a member at the gym, and there's a whole new definition of membership. So I've used a lot of words of more, changing that into ownership. When you own something, it's yours. Own your home church. Own it. Own it. Be a member. Own it. Own it. Be a part. Get involved. We have places in this church where you can get involved. And you say, Pastor Russ, the only thing I can do is make coffee. You're on the top of my list, right? I'm going to come visit you. But whatever. We have the simplest things to do to some of the most complicated things to do. You want something challenging and extremely complicated? Try to run that sound system. It's impossible. But get involved. We believe in ministry involvement. The church exists to fulfill an outward focus in each and every one of our lives. We must learn to give, and the act of giving refers to our attitude. Refers to our attitude, not only to our pockets, but we cheerfully give our time. We cheerfully give our efforts. We cheerfully give our talents, our finances to support both the local and the global impact in this church. Owning has a far more sense in our lives when we own something, when we look at the standards of the kingdom of God. And I'm challenging you to own. I'm challenging you to know, to be a part, to get involved, to give effort of your talents, of your giving, of who you are. Like that saying, they said, don't just sit there like a bump on a log. Don't just sit there like a bump on a pew. Saying, Pastor Russ, you're really pushing it today. Well, it's the only time this year I get to push it, so I'm pushing it. Now, I push it all the time. We need to be spiritually developing our lives all the time, and we always need to be involved in ministry. Be involved. Be involved. Give of your talents. Give of your smiley face. Give. Own. It makes a difference when you come here. It makes a difference when you own and you're a part of a group. It's fun when people say, oh, Pastor Russ, you missed out in my group. Oh, I love that verbiage. You own that baby. It's like, why don't you come to my group? You don't need to go to Pastor Russ's group. My group's way better than his. I love that verbiage because you own it. This is yours. This is who you are. You are growing in life together, so I encourage you to do it. Get involved in each other's lives. Some of you have said, but Pastor Russ, I've been there, done it, and I bought a t-shirt and a hat, and I don't need to do it again. I'm telling you, you need to do it again. Because there's people who need to hear your done it story. There's people in one of our stories of one of the groups who sat there and was starting to explain about the situation she was going through, and somebody speaks up in the group and says, I went through that exact same thing. You know what happens? There you are. You live by faith. You become a voice of hope. And by your actions, they know they're loved. There's people that sit in this group and they're lonely. You know what they need? They need to be loved. They need your voice. They need to watch your action in faith. That's who we are. Our theme, our series is This Is Us. I'm challenging you. This is us. We are family. But see, the most important thing in our lives is where we stand as a foundation of this church, is our purpose. You understand that? The most important thing in the foundation of this church is our purpose, is to tell people about Jesus.